Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Ambassador, for being here. I'm sorry to say this, but in my opinion, the administration's trade agenda has been nothing short of disastrous. According to the Trump-appointed Republican Federal Reserve Chair, it is this administration's reckless tariffs that have been the major driver of the rise in inflation. These policies have raised prices, disrupted global trade, and made it harder for American businesses to plan and invest because the policies have been so erratic and unpredictable. Now, it is clear that Americans are experiencing an affordability crisis, but that crisis has two sides to it. The rising costs, as I just mentioned, but also the stagnant wages, the other side of the equation. Focusing on costs alone misses half the problem. Wages have stagnated for years, and workers who attempt to organize or bargain for better pay are often told to accept less or risk losing their livelihoods as companies threaten to offshore jobs. That pressure has both shuttered factories and held down wages even where jobs remained. Unfortunately, I know this firsthand, having fought unsuccessfully to oppose the offshoring of hundreds of Nabisco factory jobs in my own very district in Philadelphia. This was a factory that had been there for many decades. Now those jobs are in Mexico, where workers there earn pennies on the dollars that were being earned by American workers at that Nabisco factory. Workers still face this race to the bottom, now more than ever. So, Ambassador, as we approach the USMCA review in just under 2 months, I wanted to know what you were doing specifically to finally stop the continued offshoring of these jobs and ensure workers finally see meaningful pay increases.
Thank you. I'm glad you're concerned about this issue. In advance of USMCA review, we've initiated Section 301 investigations in Mexico and Canada, both on forced labor issues as well as structural overcapacity with respect to Mexico. And in result, the U.S. steelworkers put out a statement welcoming USTR investigations. The IAM union backs the investigations. The UAW applauds us for doing this. AFL-CIO lauded it. So we're working hand in hand with these unions to do this. We think that tariffs are an important point to do this. We think when we took down our tariff barriers, we had a lot of offshoring, and now we want to reshore. And so sometimes I get confused when people say we don't want tariffs, but we want to reshore. We have to be coherent about this.
Well, hold on.
Tariffs
reclaiming my time because I only got 2 minutes here. So to be clear, there are times that I have supported tariffs. However, there's a big difference between the tariffs that I have supported and the ones this administration has erratically put in place. The tariffs I've supported are industry-specific and country-specific. That's very different than the trade policy of this administration. But in the remaining time we have, if we can just shift on moving forward, what specific commitments this administration and you specifically are looking for in the review of USMCA, specifically with respect to Mexico?
So first of all, we would expect that any rules of origin be updated if we're going to have preferential trade with Mexico. I cannot have a situation where China or Vietnam or other third countries are using Mexico as an export hub to undermine U.S. workers and manufacturers. That's why the unions have been so supportive of what we're doing on tariffs. So that's one thing. I would say that another thing, we want the Mexicans to follow their own labor laws, which was imposed on them, or which they passed in response to USMCA in the first term. We continue to take actions against Mexico where they are not following their own labor laws. So those are just a couple of things I think are responsive to some of your
And just to be clear, I mean, USMCA, which I voted for, and frankly I think the vast majority of Congress on both sides of the aisle voted for, I did not think it was perfect. I think there are a number of things in it that need to be improved, but I thought overall USMCA was an improvement upon the deeply flawed NAFTA that it updated. I hope that as we go through this review, we can see even more improvements, and I'll be happy to follow up specifically in a letter on some ideas that I have in ways that we could make it better and our trade policies fair for not just American consumers, but also American workers. With that, I yield back.